Here we are, video number 3 of the day. Going through all my toys. Trying to make up for lost time from the previous weekend, because I enjoyed spending time with my family and not making videos. But let's go through. First off, let's take the lid off. Very fancy. Normally you hear it fall on the ground. This one has a hinge on it. Got some interesting figures. First thing I'm going to start off with, just because it's right on top. Bad as I want to be, look at this Dennis Rodman figure. I'm going to look this up. This is from Street Players. Players, for you that don't speak Ebonics. It's got a pink hair and a green hair version of Dennis Rodman, and some jorts. Anyone out in the YouTube world doesn't know what jorts are, that means jean shorts. Jorts. Apparently this is what he's supposed to look like. Jorts. Regular. Look at them boots too. Regular. Apparently comes with everything. I'm pretty pumped about seeing what this Dennis Rodman figure is all about. Like, it says limited edition. I mean, everything's from the mid-90s, so limited edition in the mid-90s meant nothing. I have no date on this. I'm going to look this up in the next video. I'll give you an update. Dennis Rodman. Couldn't open a box and find like a Michael Jordan limited edition, like 1 of 200 action figure. Nothing against you, Dennis Rodman, but North Korea, was that your best move? Carmen Electra, was that your best move? I don't know which one is worse. I don't. Next in line. Let's see here. Okay. So, we've got from Todd Toys, before it became McFarlane, the Clown. This is actually really, really cool. When I talked earlier, we talked about watching the HBO series when my parents didn't know I watched it at my friend's house. Shout out to my friend Alex for watching it at his house. But the Clown from HBO, I watched it. I think, by the way, John Leguizamo did a great job as the Clown. Fingers again. He should do that more. I grew up and I watched the movie The Pest, and I thought it was hilarious because I liked Ace Ventura and I liked anything else that was comically weird or comically annoying, if you will. But Ace Ventura, I liked it. John Leguizamo in The Pest, that's where I was introduced to him. And of course, you watch all the different videos with John Leguizamo and you're like, wait, he's a great actor. Sadly, I was introduced to John Leguizamo as The Pest. So, John Leguizamo, I'm going to do my one celebrity call out. I haven't done one in probably the last 3 videos. If you ever watch this video, I have a figure for you to sign, but I also would like to talk to you about your filmography, because you seem like a pretty down-to-earth guy, and I'm fairly good at speaking Espanol. Next, we got more Todd Toys. Look at this bad boy right here. Spring-loaded fist action. What is... I have to real quick look and see what... Clown head turns into Violator monster head. The Violator. This says spring-loaded fist action. This is Tremor. It's going to be one of the villains from the Spawn series. I bet you if I keep going through boxes, I'm going to probably find quite a few Todd Toy originals. I did make the comment earlier, probably about 4 or 5 videos ago, that the person I bought the collection from, I don't know if I ever mentioned his name. His name is Dave. My name is David as well. But Dave had a very, very good relationship with the McFarlane Company and ordered quite a bit from them, and enough that I'm going to make it a point that actually, you know what, next video, I'm going to put on the McFarlane shirt. And I'm making a few more videos today. I'm going to go put on the McFarlane polo shirt that I have. And we'll put it in the next video. Now, this one is also from Spawn, a Todd Toys. I remember seeing this in the toy aisle and being like, wait a second, why is this person so tall? 15 inches tall. We had one of these on an earlier video, so I'm not going to go into it. I was going to say this is going to be a Spawn box, but I think I only see one more Spawn. Boom, there we go. Spawn. This is Overkill. Head launches from body. Excuse me. Todd Toys, Spawn. Now, I haven't looked at Spawn figures in quite some time. Once again, let me see if there's a date on this. 1994. I was 8 years old. 8. But I knew what Spawn toys were. Everyone that wants to, I'm pretty sure it's Vice. Maybe it's some other medium, but I'm pretty sure it's Vice. Go ahead and watch the interview with Todd McFarlane where he talks about like how he became famous and what he did with Image Comics. Sci-Fi has a cool series about Image Comics and where they kind of came from and what they did. But the point is, very, very cool if you want to start your own business. Very, very cool if you just like Todd McFarlane and his artwork and his style. And pretty much how down to earth he is. He says, you know what, guess what? I put my own money into it, which is what I did here with my toys. What are you going to lose? You already spent the money, right? If you saved it up, you're not going to lose it. But this is Overkill. I legit remember these being in the store. Once again, in the video, there's a story about them being in the store. But I remember the Spawn figures, even before the HBO, even before going to see the movie, when I was way too young to go see it with my dad. I remember the Spawn figures because they looked that much better than every other figure. And they had so many more cool options than the other figures. I know we've seen like Total Chaos and other Image Comic stuff and Witchblade, whatever else. Don't quote me on if that's an Image Comic, but I'm pretty sure it is. But when I saw those toys in the store, and let me tell you the layout, growing up in Minneapolis, used to walk in the door and make a beeline right for electronics. I had to see what new Super Nintendo games were out, or what PlayStation, Sega Saturn, N64 games were out. Then, right next to the electronics was the toy aisle. And from an early age, I knew to go up and down the action figure aisle. I mean, it was the first one right next to electronics. I then, of course, became an adult and said, let me go ahead and go up and down the Lego aisle. Am I an adult for going to look at Legos? Or buying Legos? Absolutely. I love my Legos. Every year for Christmas and my birthday, I get Legos from my wife. I think I may have told the story, but we'll have a little break and I see some more figures in there. Quick story is my wife, when we were dating, very early in our relationship, she asked me, she said, if I gave you $1,000 to spend on anything you could spend on, what would you buy? I told her Star Wars Legos. And she looks at me and she goes, you wouldn't buy a new gun, you wouldn't buy anything for your pickup truck, you wouldn't go ahead and buy, you know, like a fancy special issue comic. Now granted, if I found a $1,000 comic book that was worth quite a bit later on in life, yeah, I'd definitely buy it. But immediately, within maybe 3 seconds, I said Star Wars Legos. Because I love Star Wars Legos. I like building them. I have a Star Destroyer that literally I've been building for 3 weeks. Not because it's hard, just because I've been busy. I've been making YouTube videos. I've been going to work. I've been sleeping. But interesting story about myself is I definitely love Legos. I love Star Wars. I love Marvel. Apparently I love Disney. if I knew how to edit, I would put 2 little mini ears right here. Or I'm sorry, not mini, Mickey ears, Mickey Mouse. Could be mini ears. 2019, do what you want. Identify with who you want to identify with. So let's go into all of the figures I have in this box, because that is it for the big Todd McFarlane business. Tales from the Crypt. Special action feature. Kate moves up, fangs come down. So this is made by Ace Novelty Company. Tales from the Crypt. There's bios on the back. What other characters are there? Werewolf, vampire, crypt keeper, mummy, gargoyle, crypt keeper again, but he's more crypty. Frankenstein and zombie, and this is the vampire. This is made by Ace. Now, I don't ever remember seeing this as a kid, but Tales from the Crypt I remember watching on television. There is Tales from the Crypt Keeper. Pull out of a random box. The vampire. I'm gonna look it up. Why do I look things up? To try and give everyone that's watching a good idea about the weird stuff that I own, but also to help inform the masses. Hoping the masses actually watch this video. Next one. So, I knew I had a bunch of these, and this is kind of a big deal. I know this is a big deal. I know I name dropped Toy Galaxy either last video or the video prior, but I definitely watched a video about R-rated action figures and then the history of various this, that, and the other. Guess what? Toxic Crusaders. Toxie. You got Toxie, secret toxic glow-in-the-dark weapon. First off, I'm prior service military, so one thing I will tell you is if I see an American flag anywhere, it could be driving, the back seat of your vehicle, it could be posted up front of your house, I'm going to be happy. But the fact that this man has an American flag attached to a mop that he beats bad guys up with, that may actually be the underlying reason I joined the military. America. Also Team America. F yeah. I say F yeah because you never know if there's children watching. Let's keep it up with the Toxic Avenger. Dr. Kill Him Off. Kill him off. So I was looking up earlier, I looked up my Swamp Thing action figures, I looked up my Terminator action figures, and of course when you look up Swamp Thing, what comes up? Toxic Crusaders, Toxic Avenger, I want to say it's Troma that does it, but look at that. Now I've got the hero and I have the villain. There's also kind of one of the cool things. I know I mentioned it earlier when we talked about villain vehicle and then like good guy vehicle or good guy ride or whatever. If you look on the back, it actually gives you your good guys and then your bad guys. So even without, thank you marketing from the 90s. Thank you Playmates also. Even without ever watching the cartoon, you could look on the back of an action figure and say, this is the good guy that I want. This is the bad guy. Obviously, he's the biggest baddie. These two need to fight. I could walk into a store and see this colorful packaging and say, you know what? I want all of these figures. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty pumped about these figures, especially after watching that video about them. Let me keep looking. You know what? Let's go into this. So, more Tales of the Crypt Keeper figures. So, we already had the one. No, we haven't had the Crypt Keeper yet. But this is the special action raised head turns towards raised arm. This is the second one on the list. This is the Crypt Keeper that is not in the tuxedo, which we're used to watching on the intro of Tales from the Crypt. I am actually really interested in these Tales from the Crypt action figures. Let me go ahead and move the vampire over, especially because I look down in my random box and I see more. Here's another, the exact same that we just, not really reviewed, but looked at. The Crypt Keeper in his, I want to say it's a monk outfit, but that might be a religious intensity and whatever. But I also have, right after it, the Crypt Keeper tuxedo version. Anyone that's about the same age as me, 32 years old, used to watch late night television, and all of a sudden you'd see the Crypt Keeper on, and he would introduce Tales from the Crypt. I used to love it. It was Outer Limits, because Twilight Zone was way past my time. It was Outer Limits and Tales from the Crypt that I used to watch, and it was just the most ridiculous business in the world. You would watch it as a kid and you were like, I can't go to sleep ever. Never ever. I got more Tales from the Crypt, which, like I said, this is something cool. I have never seen these figures in my life. I have owned these toys for about 6 years now. I have never seen these. Like, I just open up random boxes. That's what I do. That's kind of the gimmick or the shtick of this show. Tales from the Crypt Keeper. This is the zombie. So we've already done both Crypt Keepers and a vampire. Now I have a zombie. Right forearm falls off. Lower left leg falls off. Everything in the 90s had an action feature. I have more Crypt Keeper stuff, which is I'm really excited about. But everything had an action feature. And apparently it looks like I probably have the whole set just because I'm looking down in there. All the limbs are interchangeable. Tales from the Crypt, Frankenstein. The coolest thing too about all of them is there's bios on the back so you can watch it. I want to say that this was a comic book just looking at the art. I honestly couldn't tell you, but if it was a comic book, it would have been one of those unique comic books I definitely would have read. Keeping up with Tales from the Crypt, we have the Gargoyle, not to be confused with the mid-90s cartoon Gargoyles. This is the Gargoyle. Wings flap and head bobs. First off, look at that face. That face just went to Chipotle and ate a triple burrito with extra Tabasco sauce on it. And also how his legs and his arms are positioned. This was distributed by All for $, Springfield, Massachusetts. So, it'll be interesting to see. These were distributed by a dollar store to see the value now. Like I said, I do this for fun. This is a collection I've owned. I do legit plan on selling these at some point, but it's not like I'm doing these videos to try and promote selling them. Except for the last video where I said if somebody wants to give me $1 million, I'll take it for all of my collection. But such unique random figures that you probably grew up, you maybe saw in the store. That's why I do it, because it's fun. More Tales from the Crypt. The Mummy reaches out for you and his eyes glow. This is the coolest thing. I gotta stop talking about it because everyone's gonna be bored. They're gonna be like, Tales from the Crypt Keeper? No one cares. Except for another Crypt Keeper in monk uniform. I'm just gonna put that there. Hopefully it's out of camera. Another Tales from the Crypt. Except he's in his tuxedo. Tales from the Crypt, the Frankenstein. We already saw it. See how we get faster and faster in the videos? Tales from the Crypt, Gargoyle. Already saw it. Tales from the Crypt, the Wolfman. Head moves back and snaps forward. Now this is one that we haven't seen yet. Tales from the Crypt Keeper. We've seen Wolfman, we've seen Vampire, we've seen Crypt Keeper, we've seen Mummy, we've seen Gargoyle, Crypt Keeper, Zombie, and Frankenstein. So, we've seen them all. I've got the entire collection. Is it worth something? Who knows? I'll let you know in the next video. Tales from the Crypt Keeper. We got one more. We got a zombie. Before the zombie craze happened. By the way, Resident Evil 2 is coming out soon on the Xbox 360, PS 17 or whatever. Xbox 360. Xbox One. Shows you how dated I am. When I talk about new games, I'm like, man, Xbox 360 was so cool. It's the Xbox One. It's the PlayStation, I think, 4. PlayStation 17/4. Something in there. But I'm definitely looking forward to the re-release. Who knows if I become successful showing you my toys. Maybe I'll start a Twitch channel. I play a lot of video games in my free time. If I'm not doing videos, pretty much I'm playing video games online with my friends. So, Resident Evil, especially when they released it for the GameCube, the original Resident Evil, fantastic. Scared everyone. You sit in a dark basement and you play it. Shout out to my friend Zoe from high school. She and I sat in her basement and we played it, and it was quite scary. I'm pretty sure I rented it from Blockbuster, so I'm an old man. Let's see, next in line. Now we have a Swamp Thing action figure. The Evil Unmen? I don't know. Dr. Demo with Serpent Biomask. Swamp Thing, made by Kenna. Looks like I got a whole bunch. We talked about it earlier. I'm actually going to just take the time to go put them all. Because there's a lot of them. Wow. I'm going to put them all on the table here. Let's start with the Tick collectible figures by Bandai. Dynamo. That's definitely in the camera. Let me move these. Dogs, don't eat these. I'm gonna put them on the ground. Human Bullet. Chairface Chippendale? No, there's no way. Nope, that's Dean. I don't know why he's got a screw on his head and his name is Dean. El Cid. Another Human Bullet. Thank you, Bandai. Here's the man himself, the Tick. The Tick. I know in a previous video we talked about, or the Tick, or I mentioned something about the Tick, and I think I said the Fly, the Moth, Arthur, Bandai Kids. I don't know. I said a lot of things. Now here is Chairface Chippendale. Dynamo. Crusader Chameleon. I don't know. There's so many different names and so many different things. This is interesting. 1994. Made by Bandai. So we'll have to look up. Definitely Tales from the Crypt Keeper. I have to look up the Todd toy stuff. The Toxic Avenger stuff. Dennis Rodman stuff. Essentially, I have to look up everything. So be on the lookout next video. I'm going to look up everything. I have two more things here. Which, this is out of the box, which is very odd for everything I own for something to be out of the box. I'm going to hold it here. But I'm also going to say this is the transducer. And the reason I say this is a transducer is because we had one of these on an earlier episode. So I'm going to say that's transducer loose. And the last thing from this box Swamp Trap with vine snare and giant Venus flytrap. Another Swamp Thing action figure made by Kenner. I also know that when I screamed out like Swamp Thing, like Marvel do something with it. I know it's DC, but also Marvel had their hands in it at some point. I don't even know. Point is, I would like to see a really cool Swamp Thing. Maybe a streaming service about Swamp Thing. But there we are. We have a Swamp Thing action figure sold separately. Swamp Trap. That is the last thing in my box. That is the end of my video. It's been 25.5 minutes. I said it was going to be a really short video because it was a tiny box. The tiny box was full of potential. My life motto. Tiny box, full of potential. That, of course, is a joke. Everyone that watched the video, hope you enjoyed it. I'll let you know in the next video a little bit of research what I found out. Please hit subscribe. Please hit the bell icon. And also, if there are any other YouTube influencers out there, YouTube contributors, YouTube whatever, anything involving action figures, and you want to reach out to me, please go ahead and do, because I am just at the very tipping point. I think I'm maybe about 10 out of 114, 118 somewhat tubs full of toys. And I'd love to partner with anyone and do some either live YouTube where we go over the toys that I pull out of the box and you give me some information because you're more knowledgeable than I am, obviously. Or you just want to come hang out where I live, which I won't disclose, and open up some toys and have fun, make some videos. Thank you everyone for watching. Have a good day.